point, man. We have a revolution to fight.
You are missing my point. Life back home is changing, man. Salamba's brought to new land reforms, new aid programs.
And guaranteed elections. Oh, Adderly, man, he's been promising elections for the last 10 years.
I just want the killing to stop. There's no more need for me to raise money to buy you bombs or bullets, right?
I can't believe that you would abandon us like this. You're a traitor. A traitor to me and to your people.
What are you, Rashid? Huh? What have you become?
I'm the same as I always was. I am struggling to overthrow a tyrant.
That's why you grow a busload of children? Your revolution has become nothing but a series of accidents. You kill more and more innocent people every single day. You know better than Salamba.
The revolution will continue with or without you, huh? We will not stop fighting until Salamba has been crushed.
Rashid! 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 Help! Somebody help!
And Dr. Taggart had to refuse this request for Mr. Greenspan, Mona. He said he was sorry.
Yeah, he already called. But thanks for bringing them down. It saves me the trip.
Oh, I don't mind. It helps me learn my way around the building. I didn't know anybody worked down here.
Mona. Would you... Good morning.
Hi.
Adderly, this is Dale Tass. She is Dr. Taggart's new assistant in protocol. Dale? V.H. Adderly.
V.H. Adderly. I read your file. You're fantastic.
Are we speaking professionally?
Yes, well, I should be getting back. Maybe we'll meet again, Mr. Adderly.
Count on it.
I can't quite understand this effect you have on women.
Why? I didn't do anything.
You don't have to.
And the day was starting out so nicely.
Morning, Mona. Morning, VH.
Melville, you're in a cheerful mood this morning.
Interesting use of a hunting rifle, wouldn't you say? I think that brings his total to 5.
Approving of vigilante justice, are we, Melville?
In this case, yes. This character, Rajin, has been up to what? Bombings, kidnappings?
If you can shoot a man in the heart, you can shoot him in the leg. If these 5 terrorists have been taken alive, they might have been able to give us some worthwhile information.
As far as I'm concerned, the only worthwhile terrorist is a dead one. Even if you don't approve, Adderly, someone is finally out there finding these animals in whatever place they're hiding and hunting them down.
Silly me. I thought that was our job.
Not yours, not today. Your next assignment.
No, Mr. Greenspan, Dr. Taggart sent that back because he...
And you'll need this.
Elizabeth Baxter, the Amnesty Group leader? What's her and her Hands of Freedom people got to do with us?
We have reason to believe that someone might try to harm her.
Why? They have no political affiliations. There's been no threats.
Mr. Greenspan, that file is...
This case is on a need-to-know basis. All you need to know, Adderly, is that she is to receive VIP treatment. Is that clear?
I take it I'm not using my car. Baxter?
Yes.
V.H. Adderly?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Adderly. I was told you'd be here. Although I don't know why, I'm quite capable of calling a cab.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sure you are.
Limousine driver Adderly to the courtesy phone, please. Limo driver
Excuse me, if you want to
Adderly
climb in, I'll be
courtesy
back in a
phone.
sec. One more, then I really have to leave. Adderly.
How's it going, VH? Did she arrive all right?
No, Melville, a pack of crazed Moldavians stormed the plane. It's a bloodbath out there.
What?
Relax, Melville. She's in the car. I'll tuck her in at the hotel in 20 minutes.
Very funny, VH. For all you know, it might well be Moldavians we're protecting her from.
There aren't any, Melville.
Well, there could be. Listen to me, Adderly.
Welcome to the drink, Miss Baxter. Been here before?
No, as a matter of fact. I don't usually travel in quite this style, but my brother made the reservation.
What's up, Melville?
Adderly, you're supposed to...
Why are you spying on me?
I'm not spying on you. I'm your supervisor. I'm doing a field check. I don't need to explain anything to you. Now, you take Miss Baxter.
Who is she?
I told you this was a need-to-know assignment, and all you need to know is...
Melon!
Melon?
You told me you were sending your driver because you were busy.
Your driver? Are you two friends?
No, it's my brother.
Melon. When Clark hears you requisition a limousine and use government employees to transport your relatives from the airport...
I am the head of the department, and I have the duty to assign you your assignments. And if I wish to protect a citizen from possible attack by dissidents, I have that right.
I don't need protecting, Melon, and you know it. I'm sorry, Mr. Adderly.
My sister says what she likes and does what she wants. She delights in insulting important people, and I think that she should be kept an eye on.
Thin, Melville. Thin.
People might use her to get to me.
And gain control of miscellaneous affairs.
Still, it's good to see you, Melon.
Good to see you, Elizabeth. Affairs, spending a few dollars to put you up at a decent hotel.
Maybe we could talk about prying a few dollars out of the budget to give me a slightly larger office.
Wait, where's my briefcase? Was that all there was in the bag? Great, now what am I gonna do?
Your bag's missing?
Oh, I must have left it at the airport. Damn!
Nice work, Adderly. Is this the way you do your job, letting some purse snatcher make off with my sister's valise?
It's not his fault. I probably left it on the plane. Besides, it's only my itinerary and daybook.
Miss Baxter, Jack Chadway. Jack Chadway Show? Wonder if I could talk to you for a few moments.
Yes, of course.
Excuse me, Jen.
Mrs. Walker, come to the front lobby.
If you don't mind, Miss Baxter, we just need a couple of quotes from you to kind of hype the interview tonight. Would that be all right?
No, fine, that's fine.
Are you ready? Ready to roll? Okay. Miss Baxter, how do you feel about the recent imprisonment of Bishop McDonald?
We are doing everything in our power to obtain his release.
Your sister's got a lot of spunk. Were you two raised together?
Melville.
Dr. Taggart, what are you doing here?
The usual protocol routine, putting cheap dictators up in overpriced hotel rooms.
Dr. Taggart, about my sister.
Ah, yes, Miss Baxter. I see you got her here on your own.
Yes, Dr. Taggart, but I would really like to talk to you about her security.
I have two heads of state here this week. I can't spare operatives for somebody who's not at risk. Now, excuse me. I have important arrangements to make.
Everyone at Hands of Freedom is committed to doing whatever we have to, and I mean whatever we have to, in order to ensure his release.
Thank you, Miss Baxter. That's just great. Okay, we'll see you tonight.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
You made a date with that man? You just met him.
I'm doing the TV news interview tonight. Remember the studio? Melon, honestly, you'd think I'd never grown up.
I've always wanted to protect you, Elizabeth.
Melon, you got me into more trouble than you ever got me out of.
It's all these causes and dissidents that you've become involved with. This McDonald, he's a troublemaker.
He gives people trouble that deserve trouble. It's a pity you couldn't be a little more like him. Now, thank you very much for the escort, Mr. Adderly, but as you can see, I'm quite capable of looking after myself. Now, if you will both excuse me, I have Earl Grey and a very hot bath waiting for me. Melon, Earl is a tea. Pity.
You two don't seem to hit it off that well.
Well, maybe she's tired from the trip. But I still want you to keep an eye on her, but discreetly.
trapped in a dead-end alley. Behind you, somewhere in the shadows, lurks a deadly ninja assassin. From his sleeve, he pulls a razor-sharp shuriken, a deadly throwing star. You can't duck it. You can't deflect it. You have to catch it in exactly the right place. Think fast. Couldn't have done better myself. Next, we'll teach you how to throw it back. Did Ernie drop that stuff off for me?
Yeah, it's in your office. Mr. Greenspan's gonna be back soon, though.
No, he isn't. He's going to dinner with his sister.
I never knew he had a sister.
Yeah, well, he's very touchy about it. Black sheep of the family, apparently. She refuses to carry on the Greenspan tradition of bringing total incompetence to the civil service.
No, I never even heard of her.
Yes, you have. Elizabeth Baxter.
Elizabeth Baxter is... Oh, but she's terrific.
You should see her. Doesn't look like they swam in the same gene pool. Ah. This little baby should be perfect.
Adderly, if Mr. Greenspan ever lays eyes on what you are doing in here...
Oh, he hasn't come in here since I caught him in the deadfall trap. We'll requisition another filing cabinet to cover the hole till I'm finished.
Yeah, right. And then what if your office ends up being bigger than his?
Regulations are very clear about that, Mona. Employees are encouraged to enhance their working areas as long as ISI doesn't incur any expense. This is gonna be great. Finally have room to put all my mountain climbing gear and my kendo swords. There's another set of coveralls if you want to help.
Yeah, maybe later.
Oh, will you check something for me, Mona?
Yeah?
Miss Baxter lost her briefcase at the airport. Could you call and see if it turned up?
Oh, sure.
And ask Ernie if he'll lend me his TV set. She's on a late-night talk show tonight, and I'm supposed to keep an eye on her.
Oh, you poor thing. I hate talk shows. You know, what I like after the 11 o'clock news is, like, really good thriller.
I thought you'd be in bed by 9, Mona.
I should be so lucky.
Okay, Elizabeth, what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the political prisoners you freed in Cuba or Bishop McDonald?
People are always giving me all the credit for Cuba. Why don't we just stick to McDonald, okay?
All right. Now, you're not nervous, are you?
No, sometimes I think I do more of these than you do.
They're ready for you in the control room, Jack.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Stand by, please. Is that clear?
Okay, Rodney, a little tighter on 2. Stand by on 3. VTR 6 coming to air in 20. Here we go.
What can I return with that thing?
Right now.
To free Bishop McDonald.
We're currently working to form an alliance of pressure groups.
Do you find her attractive, VH?
You're more my type, Mona.
Meaning?
Never con a lady with one of these gadgets in her hand.
This way we create pressure on a number of fronts. Political pressure, economic pressure, and also pressure in the sports and cultural arenas. It's only this kind of wide-ranging interruption of a nation's way of life that can have an effect on a dictatorship, such as the one Survey is. Our government has got to come to terms with the fact that they are supporting a regime which kidnaps, tortures, and murders those of its own citizens who oppose the irrational behavior of their government.
What can the average person do to get involved if they want to?
Write letters to their own representatives and also to the leaders of West Province. You have no idea how effective something as simple as a letter can be.
Oh, wow, this crawl space is 5 times the size of your office.
An air duct. Now I can get air conditioning.
What in heaven's name? This is breaking an entry.
In my own office?
Willful destruction of government property. You were supposed to be watching her.
I am.
You're supposed to be there.
Number one, you have some weird need to impress your sister by setting me up as her bodyguard. Number two, she as much as told me to get lost. And number three...
Just a second, VH. Number one, Elizabeth was at risk. That's why you were there.
At risk? Says who?
Leaders like Generalissimo Cerveza must come to realize that their tactics are their own worst enemy. When non-violent change becomes impossible, violent change becomes the only alternative. Violence is the only answer.
This is your last good deed, lady.
Adderly?
Oh, my God.
You're dead. Hey. Sir, get you.
Now do you believe that someone's trying to kill my sister?
Take it easy, Mel.
I won't take it easy. You were destroying government property and playing games while that animal was out there stalking my sister.
You really get a kick out of being in a position of power, don't you, Mellon?
You were supposed to look after Elizabeth. You used to belong to a rather elite group of people in the intelligence community, though you wouldn't know it today.
You mean compared to the people I work with today?
I mean.
Oh, lay off, Melville. I don't find anything elite about anyone who works in the so-called intelligence agencies.
Well, that's a wonderful observation, Elizabeth. That's probably the reason that Miscellaneous Affairs is the only agency that gives a damn about your personal protection.
Miscellaneous Affairs. Trust you to end up in charge of something like that.
I've tried to help you. God knows I've tried to help you all my life. But all you can do is criticize me and my work. What about you? What about what you do?
Me? I at least am trying to make the world a better place. You're some kid playing cloak and dagger games in some seedy little subterranean office.
If I hadn't looked out for you, you'd probably end up in prison or worse.
Could I get this assignment straight? Am I supposed to be looking after her, making you look good, or playing referee?
None of them.
All three. Now you stay here and make sure that nothing else happens tonight. The morning paper should be enough to convince Dr. Taggart to provide competent protection for you during the rest of your stay. I'm doing this for you, Elizabeth. The least you can do is show some appreciation.
Did he throw a lot of tantrums as a kid?
Only because of me. Look, I'd really appreciate it if you'd just ignore Mellon and let me look after myself.
Well, somebody did try and shoot you.
He's in no condition to try again, is he?
No. But he was at the airport when you arrived this morning.
He was? You saw him?
Yeah. We danced together.
What?
He was tracking you. Probably stole your day book to get your itinerary. He did everything a hitman does, except one thing.
What was that?
He tried to shoot you in public, where millions of people could see his face.
Maybe he wasn't that smart.
Or he wanted the publicity. Stay inside tonight. Keep the doors locked.
You don't think that...
I don't know what to think. A hitman tries to shoot you and is shot by an assassin who had to know where and when the hit was coming from. Promise me you'll stay in?
Yeah, of course, but what are you going to tell Mellon?
Oh, what I always tell Mellon. As little as possible. Have a good night.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Greenspan.
Come in, Melvin. How's your sister holding up?
Fine. I know you said Elizabeth wasn't at risk, but...
I'm just about to review her file. You know anything about this Fazel character? That's one file that will give me pleasure when I put it into the archives.
I don't want my sister's file going into the same place.
Sit down, Melvin. You've been in this business long enough to know that sometimes troublemakers like Fazil get through our net.
I guess we should be glad that the assassin is a good shot.
Professionally, I don't think we approve of street justice, but speaking personally, I share your sentiments.
Well, he's making your job a lot easier.
It's making a lot of jobs easier. Every time we close a file, it frees operatives for other assignments.
And he's making the loonies think twice about trying something.
Every time we have to put extra security at an airport, or search somebody, or deny access to our institutions, we're giving up some of the freedom we're supposed to be guaranteeing.
I quite agree.
So, if somebody takes the law into their own hands, well, the fact that it hasn't got the government stamp of approval is splitting hairs.
With all the operatives that are being freed up, is it a chance that you could find one for my sister? Now, I know she's a pain, but...
I will review her case. I promise. Meantime, I'm sure she's safe with your operative.
Thanks, I appreciate the help.
Anytime, Melville. After all, we're on the same side, aren't we?
Those who make non-violent change impossible make violent change inevitable. Violence becomes the only answer. That those who make non-violent change impossible make violent change inevitable. Violence becomes the only answer.
This guy's right out of one of your novels, Mona.
Yeah, soldier of fortune, terrorist activities, revolutions. I mean, gosh, he's been everywhere.
Makes me feel like I've been leading a sheltered life.
You know something? Working here can do that to you. I feel it every day.
Mona!
Sometimes twice a day. I'm in my office, Mr. Greenspan.
Have you heard back from protocol yet?
No, sir.
Well, get back to me when they get back to you.
Yes, you'll be the first to know, Mr. Greenspan.
You'll probably hear the phone ring, Mr. Greenspan.
Adderly, you're supposed to be watching my sister. Where is she?
She's speaking to a luncheon. International Affiliation of Police Chiefs. I hope she's safe.
Whose file was that?
The late Albert Fazil. He was a very bad boy.
And no loss to the world. Do you still think the assassin is doing such a bad job?
No, he's doing a very good job, Melville. I'm sure eventually he'll get all of us.
Well, sure was nice of young Dale to get us all this stuff, huh?
Yeah. Too bad it doesn't tell us anything we want to know.
What do you mean?
Well, we know he tried to kill a very controversial lady, but we don't know who hired him or why.
Well, maybe he had his own reasons.
Guys like that do it for one reason, Mona, money. Not for personality problems or crusades or anything. But they don't usually do it so publicly.
Of course, that's why Fazil's last words were sooner or later he'll get you.
Well, you'll have to ask the assassin. He seems to know all the things that we don't. He gets around a bit, too. These hits are in every continent. According to Taggart's files, they're all on our most wanted list. I want you to check something for me, Mona.
On the assassin?
No, on his victims. They've managed to get out of our grasp. I want to know how he got them.
Okay. Okay, but where do I start?
Work backwards. Start with their death dates and see if anything was filed on them 2 weeks before that. Operative reports on where they were going. And start with Fazil. I want to know where he's been hiding.
Okay. Where are you going?
I've got an assignment, remember? I think it might be getting very interesting. As I understand it, Hands of Freedom.
Tries to get people released from prisons who have been put there by organizations not unlike the one you work for.
Don't sugarcoat everything. Tell me how you really feel about me.
I think you think all you have to do is look at a woman over 30 and she swoons.
Well, you don't have anything to worry about for a few years, do you?
Very smooth indeed. I guess I had that one coming. We select specific prisoners, regardless of what side they're on, and try to give them as high a profile as possible.
To pressure the governments into releasing them. And right now, that's McDonald.
For the past month.
I hate to keep probing, but...
Mr. Adderly, I know a lot of people don't like what I'm doing, but I don't think they fall quite into the category that your fan club does.
The kind of people that want a hunk out of me wouldn't have botched the job.
Very comforting. Your wife must spend a fortune in tranquilizers.
I'm single. Just like you.
You're a very interesting man. But I have to tell you, you terrify me, and it's not just your attitude, it's the people you work with.
And I thought Melville was something we had in common.
Set up that meeting with protocol yet?
Yeah, Dale said any time, and I was expecting that, but she found out something else, too.
What?
Okay, now, you are not going to believe this, but...
Try me.
Okay, when Dale called up the file on Fazil, you know, in order to put in his death notice, she found a whole section of his file that hadn't been there before.
Let me guess. The information that came in a few days before he died.
Yeah, right, that he'd been spotted in Mexico, but there is nothing else in the file until...
Until he was killed. Where'd he go from Mexico?
Los Paracas. Then he had this private meeting with Cerveza, and then he got on a plane back here. But you see, we should have known all that. We should have known all of that days ago, and there was absolutely nothing in the file.
Perfect. We get a positive sighting on this guy, and the file goes dead. When the terrorist is dead, the missing section appears.
Yeah, but how could this be happening?
The assassin has access to our incoming information. He also knows enough about our security codes to keep that information hidden.
Could it be some foreign agency?
Somebody very close to the top, Mona. Somebody in this building.
How do you know that?
When there's money missing from the till, the first person you check is the bartender.
Dr. Taggart's busy with the preparations for tomorrow's state visit, but he shouldn't be long.
Thank you.
I have to admit that it's strange working with you in the flesh, Mr. Adderly. Your file was so interesting, I even took it home once.
Come on. Files don't give you the real feel of things.
Oh, I bet. Well, what I mean is, you shouldn't be working for miscellaneous affairs.
You couldn't push a few buttons and have me transferred, could you?
Well, if it was up to me, but it's not.
How about calling up the file on Elizabeth Baxter for me?
Oh, I'm afraid all our files are classified.
She is my responsibility. At least until your boss decides to make her his.
Well, I guess.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Adderly. Get some coffee?
No, thanks.
Thank you, Dale. That'll be all.
It was nice working with you, Mr. Adderly, even if we never got to do anything.
We'll get our chance, I'm sure.
What is it you have come for, Mr. Adderly?
I just came to find out why I'm still riding shotgun on Elizabeth Baxter.
I'm sorry,
A woman gets shot at by a known terrorist, and her security is left to miscellaneous affairs?
Yes, you're right, Mr. Adderly. Fazil was hired by Cerveza to silence Miss Baxter in the most public way. He wanted to see her killed and paid high for the risk.
You don't think Cerveza will try again?
Our files show no further contact between the representatives of Los Paracas and hitmen. I feel Miss Baxter is no longer in danger.
Well, that's a gallant vote of confidence, considering the state of your files.
Meaning?
Meaning, anytime ISI or any of our allies get a line on a bad guy, this file suddenly goes quiet until he's dead. You never know who's out there.
It is my professional opinion that Miss Baxter is no longer in danger.
And that opinion is based on?
Years of experience, field experience, Mr. Adderly. I wasn't always behind a desk. I know what I'm doing.
I don't doubt it. I imagine you also know all our security codes and a few ways of hiding what you'd like to keep to yourself. How does this work exactly? Do you tell somebody else the information, or do you pull the trigger yourself?
Mr. Adderly, let me remind you, I am chief of the Department of Protocol. You are an agent of barely perceptible rank in miscellaneous affairs. It ill behooves you to make such insane accusations.
Accusations are my specialty. And if anyone's insane in this room, it isn't me.
You can't talk to me like that.
You've cracked, Taggart. A man sitting in an office deciding that human beings should be killed and then doing it, that's not what we're here for. Your victims should be giving evidence against their backers and their buddies that could save hundreds of lives.
Okay, Adderly, if you're so damn sure of this, why don't we go and see Clack right now?
I'd love to, but I need more proof. You can't take the law into your own hands. How long does your personal type of justice last? A terrorist today, an accused terrorist tomorrow, an innocent suspect next week?
Did those victims have trials?
No. To remind you of anybody?
Get out of my office.
A pleasure.
Those who make non-violent change impossible make violent change inevitable. Violence becomes the only answer.
You're right, lady. You are so right.
Yeah, but I mean, I just can't understand how you can go waltzing off on a dinner date with Miss Baxter if what you've told me about Dr. Taggart is true. I mean, why aren't you calling Clack?
Because there's one more thing I need to know.
Oh, what's that?
Well, I know Clark will want proof, so I need travel vouchers or ticket records for each of the dates and destinations of those killings.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
You find what we need to know, Mona, and I'll take you to dinner tomorrow night.
You will, really?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Well, if I'm right about this, and Clack keeps his word, there's a little place on the Champs-Élysées that does quail that would melt in your mouth. Thanks, Mona.
Quail on the Champs-Élysées. Oh, my God. Everything's at the cleaners.
Mona, has protocol called yet?
No, sir.
Are you calling them now?
Well, no, I did earlier and there was no answer. I'm just calling my dry cleaner.
I don't want this line tied up with trivial personal matters. I want a clear line when Dr. Taggart calls.
Yeah, but
no buts about it. Wait, phone Debbie first and tell her I'm sorry I'm going to be late. I'm not leaving until this is settled.
This Mr. Greenspan.
Hi, Debbie. It's Mona. How are you?
So it is imperative that the men and women of the power and influence of yourselves must lead the way in showing this. Huh?
All set?
Yeah, I'll just put myself together. Or would you rather eat in the hotel?
No, I'm not partial to clams.
I hope this doesn't get you into any trouble with Melville. He's always been so...
You all right? Damn.
What do we do now?
Stay put. He's out there. He'll wait for a clear shot.
Shouldn't we call the police?
They never get near him.
Oh, we can't just stay here.
Why not? Where's your telephone?
Over there.
Oh, terrific.
What are you doing?
Well, if we have to be here, relax. Now for the fun part.
Are you all right? Who are you calling?
Room service. Can't go out with this going on.
Miscellaneous affairs.
Mona, it's me.
Oh, I'm glad you called. I got those travel records. Now, you are not gonna like this, but Taggart never left town. Not since his vacation last summer.
That's just what I wanted to hear, Mona.
What? But I thought you... Hey, wait a second. Wait, are you still with,
I didn't think Taggart could do it by himself. I thought he'd need help. Help from other security forces. Looks like we've stumbled into something big, Mona.
Oh, with, Miss Baxter?
Yeah. And somebody else tagged along.
Well, couldn't have been Melville. He just left here.
Oh, it's not that bad, Mona. It's just the assassin.
What?
High-powered rifle, laser scope. Where did Greenspan go?
What? Taggart just called him from his office and...
Oh, that's a neat trick. Okay, Mona. Phone Clack. Get the tactical squad over here to protect Elizabeth.
Okay. Yeah, and what do I do, Adderly?
Go home and get some rest. The flight to Paris is an overnighter.
Jeez.
What do we do now?
We wait. This is where it gets interesting.
Hello, Melville.
Dr. Taggart, I came as soon as you called. I could have sworn you said you were here.
Let's go to your office, Melville. It'll be quieter there. It's important. It concerns your sister.
Always bring a gun along on dates?
I don't like it when people get fresh. Just keep your hands to yourself and you'll be all right.
Hello?
Miss Baxter? Dr. Gordon Taggart, ISI protocol.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could come down to Melville's office to discuss some security arrangements.
Well, you're a little late. Some maniac just tried to...
Come down as soon as you can and bring Mr. Adderly with you.
Haven't you people been contacted? I mean, you're supposed to be...
All right, I'll cut it short, Miss Baxter. You hustle over here with Adderly in the next few minutes, or your brother will not make it home to his wife and kids. Do I make myself clear?
What the hell is going on here? I mean, he works with you and he's got my brother? As to who's protecting who from what here?
Good question.
Oh, and that's a great answer. You cloak and dagger people are all the same. You get so wrapped up in your little issues and concerns, you've forgotten where the lines are supposed to be drawn.
Can we argue about this later? Stay here and wait for the TAC unit. I'm gonna go get Melville.
Oh, no, not without me, you're not.
This is no time for nobility. That guy Taggart
Has got my brother. Look, this may be a little difficult for you to understand, but Mellon's always been very protective of me. Ever since Dad died, he's tried to fill his shoes. It drives me crazy, but...
If you're not there, that's one less person I have to worry about.
I'm sorry. This is one argument you are not going to win. I owe him this.
I can't believe that you're the one who's been...
I thought you approved of my marksmanship. Getting rid of animals, isn't that how you phrased it?
My sister isn't one of those, Taggart.
Oh, I know that. In fact, if those nitwits in Los Paracas hadn't put a contract out on her, I wouldn't have gotten Phasm. Now there's an animal.
Then why...
Watching her in the TV studio made me realize something. A lot of people make life difficult for people in our line of work, and they're not all animals. Some of them are bleeding heart busybodies like your sister. They use our democracy to their own ends, saving other malcontents from their just deserts. It made me realize some of the people we spend our time protecting should be gotten rid of, too.
You're crazy.
Oh, no, Melville. I'm the sanest man in this building. The ones who let your sister undermine our work now, they're crazy. I spent the afternoon checking Mr. Adderley's file. It seems he was quite the marksman. I'm afraid the frustration of being stuck down here has finally gotten to him. Murder-suicides are always so messy.
Melville? Are you down there?
At the foot of the stairs, Miss Baxter. Have Mr. Adderley lead with his hands on his head. I said Adderley first.
Mr. Adderley isn't here.
Isn't here. Hold it right there. All right. Get up. Back towards the door, both of you.
Don't worry, Elizabeth. You can't do anything as long as Adderley's out there.
You little worm. You could have lived through this if you had stuck by me. I'll deal with Adderley when the time comes.
Deal with me now. Now, can we talk?
There she is.
Oh, look, Adderley.
Quite the little lady, isn't she?
She's not so little, Melville. Thought you would have realized that by now.
You're dripping mortar, VH. Don't want to have you pay for cleaning the floor as well.
You know, Mr. Greenspan, I really can't believe you're insisting on this. I mean, after all Adderley's done for you and all he's done for ISI...
I do admit that he did help catch Taggart.
And his friends? What'd you call it? An international star chamber. One man in every NATO country, and they were all involved in terrorist killings, and they were all pretending, trying to make us think that it was one person.
I think you'll find records show that to be Mr. Greenspan's operation, Mona. Taggart spilled it all out to him when I went back to the hotel to get Clack and the tactical squad.
What, you mean, Mr. Greenspan, you're taking all the credit?
Well, we couldn't have captured Taggart without him, Mona.
What about Paris?
Paris will have to wait. Now get busy on those bricks. I'll be back later to check on it.
How could... I mean, what about the Champs-Élysées? Huh? What about the, little bistro?
Try some? No. It's oatmeal. It's not quail, but we'll have that wall back down in no time.